is Steph Roble. We are at Harken headquarters here in Pewaukee, Wisconsin, very close to my hometown where I grew up sailing on Lake Beulah. I've been sailing the 49er since 2016. The fleet over the last few years has developed a lot in terms of speed, and I would say overall we have all just gotten a lot faster. You don't see those big gaps on the race course that maybe you would have seen a few years ago, especially in breezier conditions. So, you know, we're literally fighting for inches on the race course and having really high-level conversations about speed and technique and boat placement on the race course. Whereas, you know, when we first started, the conversation is a lot higher level, and now we're really into the weeds on things and really micro picture and just really picking out all those small things that add up to those inches on the race course. And in Gold Fleet racing, you know, we all round tip to tail at the windward mark, and those inches can be the difference between rounding, you know, top 3 versus 10th or 11th. So it's been a really exciting journey of learning where those gains can be made. So our class is one design class. So when we measure in at any regatta, we have one mainsail, one jib, one kite, and one mast, one hull, one centerboard, one rudder. And in theory, all of that equipment is the same as the competitor who's next to you as well. They have the same, if not very similar equipment. Everyone's allowed to measure in one of everything, but at the Olympics, you do have your spare mast, you have a spare hull, you have a spare kite that can go on the water with you, we have a spare mainsail, spare jib in the rib. You have to make sure it would all measure in after the fact. Long answer short is no, our kit doesn't look anywhere near what it was before Tokyo, and we're in a really compressed time right now to figure out what it's going to look like for Paris. Our class after the Olympics switched to a different mast producer, and we switched sails from Mylar material to 3DI. So we've had a lot of changes happen since the last Olympics, and it's been quite challenging because it's a very short quad with the last Olympics being postponed a year. Now we only have so much time to learn this new equipment and find out what the differences are in the masts, and find out what the differences are in the sails, and then actually put those differences to the test and figure out what works for us. So it's a really compressed amount of time to figure all that out. Our masts are in 3 sections, so you can have a difference in you know, bottom sections versus top sections. Again, the challenge with all of that is learning. Well, one, the challenge is getting the money to buy a lot of equipment to then learn about the equipment, and then testing it all to know what you have just purely on land, and then testing it on the water to figure out what works for you. I don't know if we got lucky or if we were really smart on it, but we found a mast that we really like, and now we're just trying to find ones that are similar and keep it going fast. I think my favorite condition is when it's windy and a nice sea state. It's a fun challenge because downwind is a constant battle between how hard do you send it versus, you know, when do you kind of put the brakes on and play your smart move through the waves, because obviously the boat can pitch pole pretty easily, and so you're always like sending it but not too hard that you're gonna pitch pole on the wave in front of you. So we always say we're having a smart send kind of day. So I'd say those turned into my favorite days. If you asked me when we first started sailing if that was my favorite day, I'd definitely say no, because they can be a little scary. But now that we've gotten the technique under our belts, it's an exciting day for sure. We had a few days at the test event in Marseille that were pretty windy, and some teams who are really good sailors were swimming, us included, and it's part of the game, and you have to figure out how to recover quickly, and you know, sometimes you just hit a bad wave and there's just nothing you can do about it, or you miscalculate the wave as well, and it's just part of the game. Our team's philosophy is that it's really important to have goals for whatever we're doing, whether it's a training session, a debrief Zoom call, or a regatta that we're going to. Let's say we're going to an event and we want to work on starts. Well, there's a lot that goes into a start, and so you can't just say we're going to work on starts. Let's say we identify that starting in the middle of the line is hard for our team because we're struggling to see line transits or line sights, and so we would then work on, in the regatta prep, okay, how do we make our process for getting the transit more efficient? How do we divide communication for that specific goal? How do we, what are some things that might come up in the start that might prohibit us from achieving that goal? So there's kind of a bunch of different layers to it. Of all the places I've sailed, I'd like to go back on vacation to Lake Garda. Lake Garda is an amazing place and such a wind sport lover's paradise. And you can go winging, you can go windsurfing, you can go kiting. The lake is beautiful to go swimming. There's so many land activities. Well, it was really cool to come to Harken today. It's my first time being here at the headquarters, and really special to get a tour from Matt and Hannah and see the whole facility and just understand more about what goes into the production of all these products. And we have these blocks that we put on our boat, and we only see the finished product, but you don't realize what goes into it. And it was just really cool to learn about how everything is done here at Harken headquarters. And if we have any sort of problem or any sort of idea of how to improve any of the products that we use on the 49er, that we can ring up Harken and say, hey, we have this idea, or we have this problem, and know that it will be sorted, or we'll have a good discussion about it. And that gives us a lot of confidence in our equipment, and it's nice to have support like that backing us up. Up next is like the $1 million question in my life right now. I think my parents would really like to know the answer to this. But I think I would love to stay in the sailing world and do some more sailing, whether it's in the America's Cup or with Sail GP. My heart is definitely in the Olympics, so another Olympic campaign is not out of the question, but I don't know is the real answer, and I think that gives me more energy to focus on the now. So I'm putting all of my energy into winning a gold medal in Paris next summer with my teammate, and we'll see what happens from there.